Hi, I'm Dr. Bolu Eso. I'm a small animal veterinarian, and today I'm going to go through some of the top tips for new puppy owners. My number one tip for new puppy owners would be to check with your breeder. Who are you getting the dog from and where are you getting the dog from? Often a lot of people are going to get new puppies and they're going straight to Gumtree or somewhere online to buy a puppy. That's not an ideal place to get a puppy. What the first thing you want to check for is to make sure that the dog is, or the dog breeder is, Kennel Club certified. Once you make sure a breeder is Kennel Club certified, you can check their background details online. You can check it with the council as well to make sure that they have all the checks in place. The number one thing I'd recommend people to do is go online and check something called the puppy contract, where you can get lots of information on all the questions you should ask the breeder before collecting your puppy. The second thing I would say that is really important is making sure your dog is vaccinated before you're going to pick them up. So making sure a dog's gone through all the vaccinations, has had some sort of flea and worm treatment as well prior to you picking them up. This is to make sure that they have the right protective immunity before you have the next set of jabs, which will ideally be with you and getting checked by a vet. The third thing I would say most people need to do is make sure you get them checked by a vet. Once you've got your puppy, you want to settle them in at home, right? That's fantastic, but also make sure you get a health check, a secondary health check. Ideally, they've had their first health check with their breeders. Next following would be having a health check with the vet. That's stuff with the vaccinations, their flea and worm treatment, just to see the overall heart, ears, chest, lungs, everything that's going on, making sure their teeth are okay, making sure that they're growing properly, make sure they have no congenital defects, all those sorts of things to make sure that they're okay. The fourth thing in which I'd love to talk about is training. People want to get a new puppy and they want to get a new pet, and they always forget about training. They always forget about conditioning. I always advise people to make sure they get books on classical conditioning, just positive reinforcement, understanding the difference between reinforcement and punishment, because this can make the difference between you having a good dog and a bad dog. And this is also to remember to understand that the adolescence period comes from about 6 months. And after 6 months, they have a fear phase. And this is where you want to be working on your training the most. And this is where we see most dogs get rehomed. So this is where you have to double down on your training and double down on your knowledge, which is why ideally when you first get a puppy, you want to make sure that you have all that information at hand. Positive reinforcement, positive punishment versus negative reinforcement and negative punishment. And then the fifth thing I'd like to make sure that people do is insurance. Insurance is the biggest thing and the most important thing that you want to get with your pet, because at the end of the day, vet bills happen, accidents happen, and they can get very sick. And when they get very sick, you want to make sure that you're covered by insurance. Generally, I tend to advise a comprehensive insurance because those are usually the best. I don't tend to advise which companies, but you can always do a quick search and make sure you can have a lifetime coverage. And one of the best things to look out for is dental care as well, and making sure that it covers dental care also. But you want to be making sure they have a complete insurance. After that, it's really straightforward. If you can maintain your puppy on a good nutritional diet, which can be recommended by your vet, you keep them up to date with their vaccinations, you keep them up to date with flea and worm treatment, and they're insured, then half the problems you don't have. So those are my top tips. So first time puppy owners, when they're looking for materials to train their owners, there's several books online, there's several different courses online. There's behavioural websites which are sponsored by the UK, and I think it's, I can't remember the actual name off the top of my head. But I'll let that one go. But yeah, there's several different resources you can use: books, online articles, blog posts, and forums. And also, if you have the worst case scenario, then you can always talk to your vet, or you can always get a clinical behaviourist in, or a dog trainer. Understanding the difference between the two are very important as well. So not everybody needs a pet, okay? But it's a nice adjunction to the family. It's an addition to the family, and it also teaches a lot of responsibility in smaller children, but also it teaches a different way to love and a different way to provide conditional love and unconditional love as well at the same time. Animals can change your life, but you have to make sure you look after them right and care for them with the best interest at heart.